Hey everybody, as some of you already know that we attempted to do a live video, but unfortunately my internet is being ugly. Now if we decide to do another one, she's going to bring her own internet hookup thingy so that we will be able to do it regardless. And my internet has been doing really well for a couple, 3 weeks, and then of course it went horribly wrong. Okay, so we're going to, she said, yeah, there's Kim, so you know she's here. And you know, I wish we could do a phone thing, but we can, but she'll have to sit in my lap, and she don't want to, and I don't know why not. But so anyway.
Well, is there some way you could get it far enough away that they can still hear us?
They can probably still hear us. We can try doing it by phone, people, like we did to begin with. Let me see. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Dusty, the internet's not working proper. Fix it. Okay, let me see. Maybe we can do a live? See, we're close. We can do this.
I'm not into it.
I'm into it. Not sitting in your lap, but I'm into like doing the show. Okay, I lost the words. Okay. Kim, you're happy. Do y'all want us to go ahead and do a live show and us sitting this close together and all that and up and down? If you do, say yes. If you want us to hang up and do a pre-recorded crap, tell us that. They're happy, Kim. They're happy. Give the people what they want. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Can you hear us? Look, we're getting little love things, Kim. Just get over it and let's do it.
All right. Okay.
I like it because these words are covering us up a lot, and I'm glad because I don't want to see myself. Okay, go ahead, Kim.
Okay.
Speak.
Well, now don't put
I'm
me
going to direct. Speak.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Metaphysical Matters returns. I was not here last week, and I didn't even tell you why I couldn't come last week. I had an appointment with your cousin,
Okay.
Deborah, to do a solar return astrology reading, and she could only do it at that time. So I went ahead and did it because it was something I really wanted to do, and I'm so glad. There's a reason that I felt so driven to do that, was because she had some really important information about a change of direction in my life. She's been telling me for a long time that I was supposed to write a book, and you know, I had not too long ago quit my job at the radio station. It had a big.
I have written 2 books already.
Yeah, but like a book
Okay.
of my own, like a narrative from me instead of a history book. But anyway, and I don't want to make this all about me, but the point is, you know, earlier this year, right before all of this virus stuff hit, at WNCW, I left. I went ahead and retired because there was some conflict with a coworker. Anyway, she totally went off the beam, accusing me of doing things that I didn't do, and I got annoyed. And so I said, you know what, I'm too old to have to deal with this crap, so I'm not going to do it. And that seems like a random event. But what I found when I started looking through, or Deborah started going through the astrology with me, is that was all for a purpose, because I have something else I'm supposed to be doing this year.
If I have said many times, not to interrupt you here, but I have said many times, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, the universe will do it for you. I mean, if you don't do what you need to do, you will be put in that position where you don't have a choice. It's like you're given to comment and interject. When you're supposed to do something, you don't do it. That you came here to this earth to do this task, to learn this purpose, to reach other people, to do whatever you came here to do, and you don't fulfill that purpose, what will happen is you will be put in that position, okay? So there, have that, just so you know. Now she can continue her narrative.
Now, the only thing I was going to say, because I didn't want to start just yapping about myself, but what it made me think of is what we're going through together collectively right now. Like what happened to me at work felt very upsetting. I was very upset for a couple of weeks. Like, how dare somebody accuse me of doing something I didn't do? What's going on? This is so awful. What an injustice. And now I understand the purpose behind it. And I think right now collectively we're going through a huge upset, and everything seems wrong. And I'm wondering if we get to the other end of this tunnel, however long it is, we're going to go back and go, oh, that's why we had to go through that.
Okay, I've often said that yes, anytime that you go through stuff, you're not going to always understand what the heck is going on while you're in the middle of it. And when you're emotionally charged, you absolutely are not going to understand what's going on. Sometimes it takes time and maybe a lifetime to understand that maybe, this was part of your human experience. That doesn't mean you just say, okay, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that at all. It means you got work to do. You fulfill your purpose, and then you get on with it. And
just try to keep it. So
try to
move it.
I'm going to keep moving it, Kim. I've done made up my mind. I'm going to direct this episode.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Well, you had sent me a couple of texts about things you want to talk about. But first, I want to give you the opportunity. Last week, when I told you that I wasn't going to be available, and you said that's fine. I'm not really into it anyway. And you said you had about a week of feeling really, really irritable and hateful. And then you said, but other people who were coming to see you were feeling the same way.
Well, she's just reminded me, in case you're just tuning in, that last week I said I didn't feel like doing the show anyway, and I already told everybody to quit on the air.
And Ellen told me that. She read it on Facebook, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I may quit still, but I mean, I won't quit doing something for y'all because that's my job, my spiritually directed job, in my way I see things, but maybe in this format. Because I don't know, but I've been mean, I've been irritable. It all come to a big drama yesterday when honestly I was so mean that it's a good thing I don't have a weapon at hand. I have a weapon, criminals, but I have trouble finding it. Criminals would take over.
So what triggered you?
Well, that's what I was actually. That's actually what I was going to talk about. I was going to tell you a little bit, okay, about that.
Okay, look, they're all of they're popping Dramamine at this point.
I don't care. Anyway, I feel like that part of this. What was that thing you just said? I said
that everybody was hateful. That you were feeling so hateful, but everybody else was too.
I feel there's obviously, people are not meant to be cooped up like this, and then bad things happen, and it's just a pressure cooker, and a pressure cooker's going to blow, and that's what happened.
Look, Pat said she was so mad all day yesterday, she thought she was going to have a stroke.
A lot of people said the same thing. I think yesterday was the day when, for a lot of people, the pressure cooker that is our life blew. And honestly, James is usually the one that gets mean. That's right, I said it. But yesterday, it was like it was me. And I'm not normally, I have my moments. I've been told, Shannon, Blanca, thank you, that maybe I've always been moody, but not like that. It was abnormal. I'm telling you, it was abnormal. But today, and so I texted her to remind me, because I can't remember nothing, that I also think that James is, and maybe I am, prone at times to spiritual attachment. And when that happens, a person can get extremely depressed, or they can get extremely agitated. And when you're in the middle of it, you don't really feel it, see it, or know it. That's the whole point. And what happens is sometimes a wayward spirit or entity, or sometimes it's not wayward, it's just happens and it's on purpose and whatnot. But anyway, your body's not housed to hold but one spirit, yours. So they usually attach somewhere right in here, and I'm waving to the back of her neck, because I can't see because of the comments. I can push them away, I'm afraid.
No, don't do that.
Okay. So anyway, I feel like maybe I had an attachment. And I've told James, I'm pretty sure he's had an attachment a few times, and he's got health issues, right? So I think that makes him sometimes weak and not able to beat back things that your body naturally does, So that doesn't excuse things, don't get me wrong, and I had some apologizing to do, but at the same time, that is one more element to introduce into that bizarre mood. But I have been depressed now for a couple of 3 weeks. I'm telling you, and I'm not alone. I think everybody and their brother is going through some depression. But for me, yesterday was the culmination of it. Today, I feel 100% better. I called Kim and I talked to her, and I felt better about, she made me feel better. Just having somebody sometimes listen to you moan about things can relieve you, but you got to have somebody to moan to that you trust, that's not going to, hold bad thoughts against you and whatnot.
And what I'll say what I said to you yesterday. I think many people have that person that you can call, and that's such a wonderful thing. And I have it with Angela too. When you have that person, don't hesitate to call them.
also what you might want to do if you don't have that person around, or you just, sometimes you're not in the mood. There are times I don't want to talk to anybody, but what you might want to do is write down, okay, all your stuff. Write a letter to the universe to help you to get through some of the stuff if you don't have anybody. Writing things down is a good way to do it. Now, Shannon Blanca just said
about the
Skinwalkers.
Skinwalker Ranch. Has anybody seen the Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch? I guess there's at least one documentary about it on YouTube or online somewhere. That's come
There's
up
a lot of it now, and some guy who bought it, Shannon? Was it the UFO guy bought it? Somebody just bought it.
Yeah, because we talked about that. But that's come up several times, and thanks for reminding us of that, because that's something I definitely need to watch. Definitely need to.
Robin says we're fortunate to have each other. Thank you. I agree.
Thank you, Robin.
Anyway, somebody asked me something. That's what I say. It's my habit. I say that so much. I don't even mean to say it. Next.
Hey, I want to show you something weird. Have you seen this?
No.
Okay, look at y'all. I bet some of you guys have seen this. That looks like the now famous image of our little virus friend that's out there floating around, right? That's a crop circle.
I thought it was. When was it made?
It was made last month in Wiltshire, UK. That is the most amazing thing I've seen because of when it's happening.
It's beautiful. I'm sure that's what they meant for it to look like.
Well, and there's a few other interpretations out there, and I haven't really looked into them, like looking at it mathematically and the number of sides and this and that. So I'm going to explore that a little bit more, but I just think that is so...
It's influenced by the virus. I don't care what they say.
Of course it is. And it might be that we need to look at our virus friend.
That looks like Stonehenge.
Exactly. That there's more to that virus that this might be telling us. There's more to this. It's out there. Just look up coronavirus crop circle and you'll see some cool articles about it.
That's very interesting. I had not heard or known anything about that.
Yeah, that's really remarkable. It's in a barley field. But one of the interpretations I read for that was that, they're the aliens or the extraterrestrials are letting us know that they're aware of what's happening and they're watching, which leads me to something I wanted to ask you about. I have been seeing eyes everywhere.
Oh, that gave me a cold chill just now.
Usually my brain makes alien faces out of any kind of random scattering of, whatever, in a mud puddle or leaves in a tree or whatever. My mind will make it into an alien face. That has gone away, and now what I'm seeing are eyes everywhere. But I don't feel like I'm being watched ominously. I just feel like someone is watching.
It also may be a reminder for you to be watching, okay? To remind you to keep your eyes open. What's weird is,
Okay, I'm getting some motion.
Just don't look, and you'll be fine. Here's a thing that I have noticed about myself is, how you doodle, right? I think I've always doodled his eyes. I mean, I haven't doodled it in a long time, but for years, until, oddly enough, I'm just now realizing this, until the past few years, I haven't done it at all. But for years, that was my go-to doodle, and I didn't think about it. It's just I drew eyes, and I would draw them in detail. So I think that if you're doing that, it's exactly what you said. Maybe for me, it was trying to maybe open up this side more, or maybe to be watching, or to maybe we are being watched, which I feel like we are definitely being watched. And I definitely hope it's for protection, but I don't think it's good and bad. I think there's a whole lot of gray in there, and how we perceive things may not always be accurate. It may be exactly accurate. I don't think we're always going to know, maybe at this stage, at our current stage of development, if this is a good thing or a bad thing, because maybe it's a multicolored thing, and this just in, that's what I'm supposed to say. I think you have to be very careful with whom you trust when it comes to beings, or to even people like me, people who are between worlds a whole lot, because sometimes we actually might bring something back in our psychic journeys that we might not ought to bring back. This just in, I don't know why I said that, but I did, and I'm sticking with it, and there henceforth might be the reason for my bizarro depression. But anyway, go
Shelley
ahead.
says, I've always drawn eyes all my life.
I think that it means that you got something there you need to be watching for, or you're feeling watched, or you're opening that third eye. I don't know, but that's my guess. Some people might draw other things. I did go through a period, actually, and I've just now remembered this, where I was drawing lips, but that was a very short time. But I think maybe that was maybe a message for me to speak.
Find your voice.
And then again, I don't know.
Well, I wanted to hop back to something you were talking about, attachments possibly being the reason that you were feeling so terrible and James is feeling bad. What about collectively? And it's been a really rocky, especially the last couple of weeks. I'm not trying to suggest that everybody has got an attachment, but is there some influence in there, you think? And
anytime you have stuff going on, there are otherworldly beings, interdimensional beings, whatever, wayward entities that will take advantage of a situation. So you might have absolutely expectations of that.
I just noticed that PJ says that they draw the infinity sign. I think I used to do that too.
I did too.
And also, if you find yourself, and it's very similar, drawing figure eights, just figure eights over and over. That's whoa.
We're still here. We're still here. Do not be alarmed. Nobody fell. We just had an earthquake, folks. Not
No,
really. We didn't.
See, now don't touch it anymore.
I'm going to touch it.
Don't touch it.
It's going to
Anyway,
happen.
if you find yourself drawing figure eights, that's actually really helpful because the energy field in your body, if it's crossing over, you're going to be much healthier and feel happier. So drawing even big figure eights is really good for you. So if you feel like you want to do that, go for it.
I lie. I didn't draw figure eights. I'm doing it now with my finger, but I didn't. I don't know why. When he said that, I started thinking of something else you used to draw, and that was where you draw the 4 lines this way and 4 lines that way. Then you bring them out and connect it, and you bring them out and connect it. I don't know what that's called. I used to draw that a whole lot when I was young.
Debbie does the figure eights, and we just had a comment come through that somebody who said they were channeling Nikola Tesla said that fear was a big part of the virus scenario right now, and that some people are succumbing to fear. And I have to say,
that's like a disease in and of itself.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's something there you do need to use caution, but you also need to exercise your common sense. You got to stay grounded,
Yeah, absolutely. You sent me a text earlier today about that you wanted to talk about karmic bonds. How does it feel when there is a karmic bond?
Oh, I was talking about.
That was this morning.
You know what was weird? I freaked myself out just now because I did this little smile like I do, like, human beings tend to do. And I saw my Aunt Ruby's face, but it was my face. But it was like I saw my Aunt Ruby, and it's like, oh my God, I look like Ruby. And then again, maybe she's trying to help me. Now, what did I say?
Well, speaking of your Aunt Ruby, karmic bonds. How does that feel when there's a karmic bond?
I think that would. I think I was talking about when people feel like they are drawn to each other and you can't get away from them, no matter what. And I think that's because there is an agreement before you come to this world that you will perform certain tasks or, do certain things to get your soul work done. And you might not even know what that is while you're experiencing it. But if you ever have a person in your life that you just basically, are so drawn to and you can't get away from them. But now here's where even people make a mistake sometimes. In new relationships, the first 3 months is chemistry. Then there'll be a little step back. I told you this before. Then there'll be another 3 months, and then if you're really there, ready, you'll go on. And then your love affair will stop being a love affair based on chemistry, and it'll start being real. And that's when you see the warts and stuff, and it's when it gets, like I said, real. And that's when you know whether or not you're going to have something to build on or not. So don't be calling things karmic in the first 2 to 3 months. Give it time. But after that, it's like, and it doesn't always have to be love. It could be parent-child, or it can be, murderer victim even, believe it or not. That doesn't mean it's okay to murder somebody. It means that at some level that's beyond our current level of understanding, that there could be, everything maybe has a purpose in this world that we're not privy to. And maybe there have been people agree, I will be the victim, I will be the perpetrator. The next lifetime it might flip, the soul. I'm not talking about current events. I'm talking about your soul choosing to have human experiences in a way that helps us understand what it is to be human. In my opinion, we're prodigals. And we have to go pretty far away until we finally work our way back to our Creator. Well, that's just my opinion. But I thought, whatever. Do what you want to with that. But sometimes a karmic bond or an agreement, okay? An agreement with somebody before you ever come to this world, okay? I had a vision one time. We hadn't been friends very long yet. That we were in spirit and we were both white. And we didn't have hands exactly. It's like a ghostly look, okay? Glowing white. And we were in some place alone, but we were coming to earth and I was coming first. And we were hugging. And it's like I was dropping away, but I knew she'd be following. And I feel like, and I called her because I was wound up about it. I was wound up about every daggum thing back in. Oh my God, I need to live this life over. And I want to do over. I have said it 100 times.
I liked it when you were wound up about everything.
Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But anyway, I called her because I was wound up about it, because I never saw anything like that before or since, and it was a vision, and I don't like that I share. I wish I just kept my mouth shut, to be honest, because it sounds manipulative when I hear myself say it now, but I didn't mean it to be. But anyway, whatever.
It's not. It's just what you saw.
That is
It's
what it is. But anyway, I feel like I dropped down, and she was coming after it. I feel like we had a karmic bond. I feel like we had a soul. This is what I was trying to think of, a soul agreement. That we would agree to come here and try to murder one another, and then we would be friends. and then we would try to murder each other again. No, actually, only one of us tried to murder the other. I'm not going to say it was me. But anyway.
What are you talking about? This is news to me.
Oh, yeah. Forget that part.
Wait.
I'm kidding. Leave me alone. Anyway. Stop it. Don't take everything I say literally.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell y'all something else just while we're talking about maybe following up on that vision. The first time I made an appointment to come and see Angela, I was driving up Interstate 40 from Morganton up here. And I don't know if y'all know this album by Suzanne Vega, 9 Objects of Desire. It's a really cool record, and I was just loving that record, and I was playing it. Actually, it was a cassette tape at the time, and I was playing it over and over. And there was a song called Birthday, and it was just about starting over. And this woman was like this, was the one who was redirecting this path. And I played that song over and over all the way up here. And I did not understand why I was doing that for a long time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know that song either.
Well, it's kind of it was something that I was listening to on WNCW. It wasn't like mainstream. But anyway, so my soul, I believe, was communicating with me through the music I was choosing to listen to.
Sure, what she said, her own soul was using, she herself was able to find her soul purpose by listening to her higher self, and it came to her in the form of a song, and she was drawn to it over and over and over and over because that's what speaks to her. Okay, now somebody else, it might be something else, like you might read a book. One time, I need to know about something in a bookstore. Remember those bookstores you go in and buy books? I flipped this book open, and there was a paragraph. It was to the point of bizarreness that it spoke directly to me. Okay, it answered what I was wanting to know. The universe, your higher power, the multiverse, actually, whatever, your God, whatever you look at in your world, can speak to you in that way, can lead you when you're open to it, to things that can help you understand. I really didn't want to murder you. I did want to murder myself, though. That was true. I did, because I feel like I behaved badly. But anyway, I'm human. What you know, I'm human and I'm broken. What are you going to do? But anyway, I feel like that we are guided, and sometimes we need a little extra input, and sometimes you get through somebody like me, maybe a friend, a relative, an experience that teaches us, or a song that you just can't not listen to. You pick up a book, you open it. But these things, you know, they speak to us, and you just got to sometimes be the heck quiet and listen. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes I don't listen. Sometimes a lot of people don't listen, and then your lessons get bigger and bigger and bigger until you listen. For example, and I've told you this before, I'm going to tell you again because some of you might be new. You know, I knew not to make a certain move, but I wanted to because I just did. And I wouldn't, you know, listen to the little voice in my mind, and I kept pushing and, you know, and I ended up hitting a car. Nobody was hurt. I just made a mistake, but I got a ticket, and this is many, many years ago, for unsafe movement. And I didn't listen, and then finally, the universe sometimes will just have to smack you, you know, until you do. Or for people who have been churched like I have, you know, it's like, you know, God will get you if you don't hear him. You know, he's going to set it up till you do. Yeah. And if I had progressed, I think very bad things would have happened. Or you know what? Maybe something wonderful would have happened, but it wasn't meant to be. it wasn't supposed to be, or it would have been.
You know, Shelley says, makes you wonder why a song comes in your head and you listen to it over and over. Amen. I do that a lot, and then I'll hear the lyrics or just, maybe just one little phrase, and I realize that's what I'm supposed to be getting out of it. Sandy asked, said, may I ask what group is this? Sandy, we're still trying to figure that out. If you figure it out, let us know. It's just a real informal gathering of friends and clients of Psychic Angela Moore.
Oh, God, I'm dying.
PJ, I really wanted to comment on what you just said about asking, do we think that you can reincarnate into the past? I personally say yes.
That's bizarre. Dylan was asking me that. He was asking me that, and I think for most people, it's like society is also evolving, right? So for most people, I think we do that forward, because as we grow, we have to be in sync with the society that we're in. Okay, so I think most of the time we go forward in order to stay what is the word I'm looking for? Coherent with whatever is happening. If you take somebody but human experience. If you take somebody whose most recent memory is fighting the lions in the Colosseum and drop them into a spaceship, that might be very jarring for that soul to adapt. Having said that, human experience is human experience, so it's probably very likely, I don't think it's likely for a young soul, but I think for an old soul, I think it's very likely that you go around anywhere that you need to be, whether it's past or future. As a matter of fact, I did a regression for somebody one time, and she was definitely from the future of this world and working in space and stuff like that, Well, I don't know how to do a podcast, Amy Hendrickson. I would.
So we've talked about that. I mean, I could do it. Do you want to? I guess a video podcast.
I don't know. Do what you want. Yes, I want to, because that's the thing. So yes, but I don't know how.
Well, there's so many. It's kind of hard to stand out from the crowd. But anyway, so
Does anybody want to? By the way, my house is for sale. Only if.
Again?
Yeah, I'm just telling you. Only
Look what she's
if.
fanning with. A picture of us from ages ago.
Do you see my tiara?
Yeah,
my
we
tiara.
talked about that.
Yeah, I'm telling you again. I got that at drag queen shot in New York City. And that's when I was young and good looking. And she ain't changed a freaking bit. She still looks the same.
No.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, I do think, and you say, too, that you can reincarnate into the past, because there is no such thing as time.
No, time is...
And they're actually, all our lifetimes are going on at the same time.
I've said before that, to me, this way I experience it, and I'm just, who am I? Don't listen to me. But think of, to me, the way I feel like it was given to me is think of a movie reel, and this is time. Okay, and in this movie reel, if you pull it out, you will see the movie in order. Everything's great. But I think if you were to, I forgot what I was going to talk about. Oh my God, I just suddenly felt weird. I'm sorry, I just suddenly felt a very, very weird, oh my God, okay. I feel a presence. I don't know what's going on, but I'm actually feeling a little bit nauseous, so I'm going to have to stop and say, get back. I feel like the Beatles, now get back to where you once belonged. But I feel like in order for time to make sense for us, we have to experience it reel by reel by frame. Thank you, by frame by frame by frame. Okay, but if you look at the whole thing, if it was taken out and spread around, okay, it wouldn't make sense, because you'd be jumping in at what. So we have to sometimes have it like that to make sense. Having said that, as I already said, an old soul seen this movie 20 times. It don't matter where they jump in, because they seen this movie too. Okay, so it was Elton John's song. So anyway, that's what.
Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
That's my favorite album.
Yeah.
So anyway, or is that Captain Fantastic? Is that a different one?
No, that's on Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
I love both of them.
Yep.
And it's so crazy. I hear these songs. Come on, Kim, you probably do the same thing. You can sing every word. Every word. I sing these gospel songs around the house all the time, and I know every word. I can't remember the title or who sung a song from yesterday. It's hard to get older.
Well, an old curmudgeon like me would say that a lot of the new music is not very memorable, but
some of it is, but it don't matter. I can't remember.
Yeah. Okay. Another note that you...
How do you know? Sorry, Kimmy, but that was
okay.
actually a good thing. How do you know the voice in your head is your own or something else?
Oh, that's a good question. Sorry, I didn't see that.
It don't sound like you. Okay, there you go. It just don't sound like you. If you get a and it sounds like, what am I thinking this? And you need to pray about it, and whatever way that means to you, meditate. If you don't believe in prayer, whatever, and ask, what does this mean to me? Because there's voices in your head that can be of a higher level, somebody guiding you, giving you information, and then sometimes you get them, and it's something that's going to lead you down the garden path. You have to have really a gift of discernment. But if you don't have that, if you just take time and put out your shields, put out your thing, and say, Lord, if this is what I'm supposed to do, or if you don't believe in that kind of stuff, just, put out, I need to know if this is me or not, and just kind of like clear your mind, clear your head, meditate on it a little bit, and then see what comes to you. Sometimes, and actually, I guess all the time, to be honest, it's really about trial and error. It's about knowing through trial and error what is yours and what is not. But that saying, that still little voice in the night, that's usually coming from your higher power. But with me, a lot of times I get that this is not my thought, and I know that's what I listen to. I know from experience. Sometimes you just got to have experiences until you figure it out.
Okay, another one of the
Hey, Bob.
text that you sent me this morning, actually. She didn't send me any all week. I got a bunch of them this morning. You want to talk about mind melds?
Oh, yeah. When I'm in session with people, sometimes I get these ideas, and then later she tells me I texted. I have no earthly idea what I was talking about. But, I'm a big Star Trek fan, and as you know, well, that was the cat. Don't be alarmed. Spock and the mind meld, I used to get so freaking excited when he'd do a mind meld on somebody. But anyway, I told you before, I used to cry because I wanted to be a Vulcan, because I hate having all these flipping emotions. I want to be a Vulcan, and I wasn't given that privilege until I found out that actually they do have emotions, they're just suppressed. That's beside the point. I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, you can't necessarily do a mind meld. You can try. Actually, I have tried many times to do that. I've studied it. So you can try. A person would have to let you in. But I think sometimes when you hang out with somebody enough, you do get that connection. You do get that mind meld. You and Ellen probably know what each other's thinking when you don't even know you're thinking.
Sometimes we're sitting around and we'll both scratch or cough at the exact same moment. It's weird.
You're energetically already melding. And, my husband and I, we have often just used to, when he felt better anyway, we'd break into songs, same song at the same time. So very often, yes, we will absolutely. Somebody asked me, did I answer the last text question she sent?
You know what, Debbie? I have no idea. At some point, I get lost. If I don't drop breadcrumbs.
No earthly idea. Resend it if you sent me something.
I think she meant the text question we were talking about, which was we talking about karmic bonds and them.
Oh yeah, I answered it.
Okay.
That was the whole answer. I had to go back and replay because that was my answer. That and just the best I could do on that deal. What was we talking about? Oh yeah, the mind meld. Now I'm gonna tell you a little technique you can do. Other than spending a lot of inordinate amount of time with one another, what you want to do?
You gotta go booga booga.
You want to no. You want. I've told you this before. You want to sit opposite each other, about 3 feet apart. You want to breathe and be relaxed. You want to close your eyes, and then when you feel that person, when you can feel them sitting there, you open their eyes. They may already have theirs open, which is kind of weird, but you just want to open your eyes and then gaze, not stare like this, but simply gaze into their right eye, and they should be gazing into yours.
So this is like a soul contact.
It's a soul contact,
okay,
or a mind meld, and the human mind meld. And you do that until you start. You might see their face change. It's a hallucination, but it's also maybe a back door to the soul, and you can maybe start seeing things in them that does come from a past life if you believe in such things. It could also show you maybe something that you weren't expecting, but that's a technique that you can try if you want to when it comes to mind melding, the soul contact, which do not do more than 10 or 15 minutes. Don't. I wish you wouldn't do more than 5, because it can get weird and you can actually do hallucinations that are not best, okay, for you. But you can do that or not do that. Thank you, Shelley.
What about looking in the mirror and doing that with your
You can do it with yourself. I've done it with myself, and it freaked me out. everybody sees me changing into the same face. It's just really weird. It's a man with a goatee beard and this kind of thing. And I even saw it. I don't know. It just freaked me out. One time I had this dream, Kim. I dreamed that I was like watching, and my guide, which I dream about that sometimes, was with me. And it was bright, beautiful. And the San Francisco, the Golden Gate Bridge was in the background. Green. I don't know what it looks like. I've never been there, but there was a green. There was a green meadow, and I'm looking down like I'm flying through the air, and there's this man, a young guy, brownish hair, a Caucasian guy, nice looking regular man, had two little kids there, and he was sitting on the ground playing with these two kids. They were his kids. And this being, which I felt was an angelic presence in this vision, dream, whatever it was, said, "That's you." And she's talking about the man. "That's you." That was me. But it felt like now time. And I mean, it actually was very nice, but yet it disturbed me because I don't know how to interpret that, because it was now time, which some people believe that your soul is actually living 12 different lives at the same time. And I'm very mad about it because I want that guy's life. It could also be maybe a preview of where I'm going next. I don't know. I just share that with you because I don't think it was just a dream. It didn't have that vibe. So I think that sometimes maybe you are actually multiversing yourself around.
Well, there's a way of looking at it that there's an oversoul, which is a bigger version of you, and would almost be in a way like a puppeteer, which would have several characters in play on the playing field at the same time. One of which would be you. Jane Roberts, who channeled the Seth material back in the 70s, really, really cool stuff. She wrote a novel called The Oversoul 7. I highly recommend that. It's a great, interesting novel, but also explores this whole idea. I have dreams. I don't have as much as I used to of alternate lifetimes, not lifetimes, alternate lives. They are now. They were in this time, but I am somebody else. I was a red-haired girl who. It was just like, and it's just slices of people's lives. It's nothing really major going on. Just like I had this one dream where I was this red-haired girl and had a female partner, and we were living with my mother, and there was double glass doors outside, and it had snowed, and people were walking outside. There was a sidewalk right in front of our window, and people were walking outside and being very happy in the snow. End of dream. Another one where I was the lady in the UK who missed her train and went over to hang out at the pub with her friends. I've had many, many, many. And so I feel like that's, I don't know what it is. But they're all now.
I think that, again, you might be dropping into, and then again, how much difference is there between maybe in current times? I don't know. But yeah, and that reminded me though, when you said that, my kid, Dusty, when he was a little kid, he got so upset. He was about Dylan's age. He's about 8 or 9. I don't know how old he was. He's about Dylan's age. And he had a dream that he woke up in the bed that he was in, and then he looked out the window, and he was crying because it hurt his heart so bad that it was snowing outside, and it was so cold, and that he saw a man with a long white beard and kneaded in. He was like an older guy, and he wanted to come into the house because he was so cold. And he said there were cars out there that he could see. Evidently, he wasn't in the house we were in, because evidently it was more of a city scene. But he said that there weren't cars like now. It's like cars you see in movies, like the 30s or 40s. But he was so upset because this old guy was so cold and freezing and wanted to come in. Anyway, I mean, it really upset him because he felt so sorry for that man. And there's so many, I don't think that was just a dream, because he's a highly psychic person. I wonder if he was stepping outside this universe and going back in time. I wonder if it was an entity creating a vision that wanted in and was trying to trick a little boy. Or if he was, like, as I said, maybe just envisioning something that he was caught between worlds. And it could be any of the above. Who knows? But I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to share that. I just remembered it.
Okay.
I also dreamed that Aunt Jemima came through that same window and kidnapped me when I was a very small child and took me in the cabin.
She forced you to eat pancakes?
No. Well, she was stirring the big old pot and was down there in the woods. And Papaw came and got me and took me back home in the dream. It was like, and I wasn't scared or anything. It was just weird. I mean, so go figure. I have never forgotten it. My first dream.
That's weird. Amy had an interesting question a couple minutes ago about feeling in limbo, of feeling lost, and how do you find your way back from that state of mind?
I guess everybody's different. I think sometimes when you feel that way, you just have to feel that way until you don't, if you want to know the God's truth. But I think probably what you have to do is try to find something, maybe some different things to see if anything gets your interest. Maybe spend some time alone. Maybe spend some time with friends. Maybe you try a little bit of this, that, and the other. But then one day what happens is, I think it ends. It just ends. It's done. And opportunities happen, doors open, or moods change. So I think sometimes the answer is you wait it out until you don't. But always try to communicate. We are social beings. So try to keep the doors open, for communication with people that care about you.
Well, I tell you what works for me in that case. If sometimes I feel like I'm totally, just flying away, I'll play some music, because music's my thing, but find something that meant a lot, that has meant a lot to you in your life, a hobby of interest of some kind, and go back, and a lot of times that'll tap back in, and that'll be like a grounding cord that'll pull you back.
There you go.
And Tracy asked, what does it mean when you shake inside when you're around somebody? Is that a warning, or what do you think?
What she was basically saying was, look at your history, what has helped you before, and it applies to this too. Look at what has happened before and see, what does this mean? And so I think it happens with trial and error, to be honest, because what it is for you, Tracy, somebody else, it may mean something else. But I definitely think no matter what, it means this: pay attention. Something maybe is trying to get your soul flat out of your body, pay attention, caution until you are shown otherwise, caution. That's what I feel like I'm supposed to say.
Okay.
I don't know if you're talking to her or not, but I have never been trained in Reiki healings. Having said that, there are times when I feel a need to do what I call a healing, and it's what I call, because it is in no way, shape, or form validated by anybody. Somebody actually, but I have been proven right so many times. I'm sorry, I'm not bragging on myself, because I probably have not done a whole lot for other people, but there have been cases where I can't explain it. This thing comes over me. I push the energy. It has been proven to me to work on several people, but I can't always just turn it off and on. And so what I do, I don't talk about it. I just do it. People also often will say, I just feel so much better, and I have the illness gone, and they don't know why. And I'm thinking, yay, it worked. But you know what? I'm just a vessel. Things run through me. Energy goes through me, and sometimes I can send it out there and on purpose. And I'm not going to waste your time giving you examples, but it kind of scares me at times, because it's like, oh my God, I can't take that kind of responsibility. But at other times, it's always a joy. Always a joy if it works. But my big fear is, like, what if somebody thinks, oh, Angela did all this, and they don't go to the doctor, and they need to go to the doctor, So I don't want to be responsible for somebody's, oh, Angel sends you the healing vibe, but you got to do what you got to do regardless,
Yeah. Pamela's asking, when can you tell, or when, I guess, and how can you tell that a past loved one is with you?
I think you just got to trust your own gut on that, girlie. I think that, they'll probably give you signs and stuff. Some people will smoke. You might smell smoke if you associate it with them. Some people you might smell Estee Lauder, for me, with one of my relatives I know. Sometimes it'll just be, you just feel it. You just, like they're in your head, or a song might play that's meaningful. So there's 100 different ways. You find dimes for some people. Everybody's different, but most of the time you have to trust just basically your own gut. And then once you know what resonates with you, you can start really honing that to where you know what's going on, just because you've been there, done it so many times before.
Okay. One other thing that you texted me was, add salt to your dish.
Oh yeah, golly bum. Let me see. That was about flavoring. When I get these things, I know exactly what I'm talking about, and I know exactly these are the words that'll trigger the memory. Then it happens, and I don't know what the crap I was talking about, but I know that it wasn't really about salt, it was about seasoning. I guess I'm just going to say, if your life is not what you need it to be, sometimes you have to add a little seasoning to it. Sometimes you have a dish that you might enjoy a whole lot too, and it gets bland after a while, and you have to kind of zhuzh it up a little bit. So I guess maybe
do what?
Zhuzh it up a little bit. So
I've heard that.
I think that means that sometimes when your life is getting stagnant, you have to spice it up a little bit so that it don't get bland and you don't miss something. And also, I've been thinking about this movie, Marilyn Monroe. My favorite Marilyn Monroe movie is Some Like It Hot. I love that movie. I need to watch that. But Niagara. Love that movie. If you like old movies and you hadn't seen it, see it. It's like a thriller type movie. It's so good, so good. But I think I'm going to go to Niagara Falls. I feel like that's what I got knocked out of when I was a little kid. I want to go to Niagara Falls. I'm just going to throw that out there for absolutely no reason, except I just want you to know that. I got to go to Florida, and it only took me 50 years of wishing it for it to happen. So if I start wishing to go to Niagara Falls now, I'll get there when I'm about 100 and something.
Do people still go over in a barrel? That'd be the last thing you could do. That's the last thing on your bucket list.
I don't think I want to do that, but I do want to go. I hope nobody gets murdered, but I do want to go.
What is this about murder today?
Niagara, the movie.
Oh, okay. All right.
Have you not seen that movie?
I have never seen it.
Oh my God, it's so good.
I wrote it down, though.
Yeah, watch it.
I love good old movies. Okay. It's so funny, y'all. We were talking about, we need to do something different with our live stream. Let's reimagine it. And so here we are. All the things we said we were going to do different. We are right back to square one today. We're doing it the old-timey way on the phone. And we've done it the exact same length that we always do. All the things
it's just the medium.
Yeah.
This girl said, how can we... first of all, we travel, they say, in soul groups, Debbie Collins. They say we travel in soul groups, okay? So basically, the people that you're with or have been known in this life are probably not coming back yet. I think there's like 100, somebody said to me that there's usually around 100 years before you do come back. But also, I think that sometimes I have seen maybe somebody left too soon and maybe they do come back within that same group and that same family, and you don't feel that contact with them no more. It's different. You don't feel it, but maybe start seeing it. For example, let's say one old guy might pass away, and then a little bit later, maybe a young guy gets born, and maybe this baby is like, not only looks like the old guy or acts, but he has mannerisms and does stuff that is just exactly the way the old guy might have done it when he was here, and this young guy never even saw the old guy. And there are actually cases like that, especially if you go more like into India and stuff like that, where it's more open and appreciated, that kind of thought. But yeah, it's like sometimes, but again, you won't feel them in spirit when that happens because the spirit's back in the body, and what you will do is maybe get that feeling about that person. And then usually though, what happens is that spirit might act as a guide for that person, and they might adopt some mannerisms. But yeah, I think they can actually, and there has been a ton of evidence, as I said, in other cultures that bear that out.
Okay. Well, let me see if there's anything else I wanted to bring up. I think not. So what do you want to leave us with today? What's coming up? I did want to mention, y'all who are interested, you could research a little bit about the correlation between solar flares and unrest and social upheaval. We had a big solar flare right about the time that the latest round of protests started a week or so ago. So I'm not saying that there's no real reason for things to happen other than cosmic reasons, but it's an influence. Anyway,
everything is connected to everything else.
Yeah.
Everything reflects everything else. So if you got something, if my finger hurts, my whole body is affected.
Yes.
Okay. So everything affects everything else. And does it ever does cosmic things cause these things? Probably not. But do they reflect it? Maybe they could do, cause it. Maybe it's like a ripple effect, At one time, nobody could believe a microscopic germ could cause illness, So, and somebody asked something there, though, that I wanted to answer. And how do I do? Oh, wait a minute. I probably don't need to do it on the computer. I was trying to hit the mouse on the computer. Amy, Yeah, actually, believe it or not, there's this brain thing that happens to some people.
You could feel. She was asking if you could feel somebody else's physical pain.
Yeah, somebody asked me, can you feel somebody else's physical pain? Okay, here's the thing. There is actually some people that have a thing going on with their brain. This is an actual truth, okay? And if they see somebody else like grab their chest with a heart attack, they will actually feel that too, because it works that way. Well, and it's not fake. They will feel the pain. If this person passes out, they will pass out. They're so empathic that they actually cannot disassociate from somebody that might be suffering, but that's rare. However, having said that, a highly empathic person, of course, they're going to feel other people's pain, and I think we could use a little more empathy in the world right now. You know, maybe we need to be feeling other people's pain a little bit, so maybe we can do a little bit better by way of our neighbors in the future. Why does it hurt anything to be a good person and love people, even when you don't get them, even when you don't understand them, even when it's alien to you, because maybe it's the right thing to do, because, you know, God loved us when we really didn't have it coming. Maybe we need to love other people, whether they got it coming or not. That's just my opinion. Okay. I just feel like I'm going to preach all of a sudden. I'm so sorry if I was offensive, but you know, I am what I am.
Heck no, how could that be offensive?
I'm so good at being offensive.
Okay, so what else do you want to leave us with, if anything? What should we be thinking about the next week?
I need your prayers, and I'm not kidding you, for praying people, because I'm unsettled inside myself, and I don't like being this way. Who does? Nobody does, and you're probably unsettled too, so I pray for you. Let's pray for one another if you believe in prayer. If you don't believe in stuff like that, then hold me in a good thought, because I feel like I want to ask that. I feel like I need it. And when I say I was going to sell my house, only if I find property. So if any of you I want to downsize so I can have some money so I can go to Niagara Falls, okay? I need to go there. But anyway, I'll pray for you too. But I feel like, be good to people. Be good to people. You better be good to people. You want to put out a goodness, because it's going to come back to you. It's going to come back to you. Sometimes you got to be good when it don't make no sense to be good. But you got to be if you want that good energy coming back. You know? In the meantime, Bigfoot lives around here somewhere. Don't forget I told you that. I just feel like I want to leave you with that thought. Because I got a feeling he's going to be making some noise. I am serious.
Okay. Alrighty then. Well, I think we're done here.
Yeah, I'm done. Okay.
Well, thank you so much for sticking with us early on. We should just name this show the Technical Difficulty Show, because that's just the way it always is. But thank you so much for sticking with us. And anyway, we'll do it again.
Maybe we will be back after all. So bye.